On the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives on June 29, 2017, U.S. Rep. Gwen Moore, de Milwaukee, declared Dontre Hamilton was shot 14 times by police for resting on a park bench in Milwaukee. Is that what happened? The incident can be viewed in at least two different ways. Literally speaking, Hamilton was not killed simply for resting on a bench. He was shot after striking an officer with the officer's baton. But in making a rhetorical point, Moore is correct that Hamilton had done nothing to attract the attention of police but fall asleep in a park. And the fatal shooting occurred after two other officers had twice observed Hamilton and determined he was doing nothing wrong. Moore's comments Moore took to the House floor to promote a bill she introduced 3 days earlier. Under the measure, states and localities receiving certain federal grants would have to require their law enforcement officers to undergo training on de-escalation techniques to assist in reducing the need for the use of force by officers. She made her claim about Hamilton after arguing that her bill should be made law before summer ends, saying, "We know that kids are out of school and that the tensions in our streets are high. Police on alert, and far too many of us are distrustful of the police due to the painful and frightful memories of how many deadly encounters have dominated headlines, close to 1,000 in 1 year. How can this Congress recess for the summer and not take up this bill? Yes, the Affordable Care Act is a big issue here before us in Congress. But if you live in communities of color around the country, the immediate healthcare issue for you is being shot by a police officer who has been sworn to protect you. If you die at age 12, like Tamir Rice, who was shot by police for playing with his sister on a playground in Cleveland, how can you be concerned with the Medicaid if you're killed at 31 years old like Dontre Hamilton, who was shot 14 times by police for resting on a park bench in Milwaukee? Nursing home care is not your priority. You won't have the fortune of living that long. Her office did not respond to our requests for information for this fact check. The Hamilton incident. Hillary Clinton injected the Hamilton incident into the 2016 presidential campaign. At a Democratic debate with Bernie Sanders in Milwaukee, she said Hamilton was unarmed when he was killed. Our rating was mostly true. Hamilton, a 31-year-old diagnosed with schizophrenia, had a history of contacts with Milwaukee police but no convictions for any violent crimes. He was shot to death by Christopher Manny, a Milwaukee officer who worked in the downtown area, on April 30, 2014. Manny was fired not for the fatal shooting itself, but for the way he approached Hamilton, which led to a scuffle. Here's a summary of the incident from our Clinton fact check, based on a report by the Milwaukee County District Attorney. First call shortly before 2 p.m., an employee at the Starbucks located in Red Arrow Park downtown called police about Hamilton, who was sleeping in the park. The call was classified as a welfare check, in other words, to check if Hamilton was okay. A desk sergeant called Manny's cell phone and left a voicemail message, saying he wanted Manny to go to the park about a homeless guy sleeping there. 2 officers respond because Manny didn't immediately respond to the voicemail. The Starbucks call was referred to a dispatcher, who then dispatched 2 other officers to the park. They found Hamilton lying on his back with his eyes closed. They nudged Hamilton. He got up and provided identification and said he was taking a nap and was all right. The officers left. Second call about 2:10 p.m. Another call to police about Hamilton came from Starbucks. The 2 officers returned and told the employees that Hamilton was not doing anything wrong. The officers left shortly before 3 p.m. Manny responds just before 3:30 p.m. About 90 minutes after the first call, Manny listened to the voicemail. He called dispatch and asked if there was an assignment for Red Arrow Park. Told there was not, Manny asked that he be recorded as responding to a trouble with subject call, and he went to the park. He apparently was not aware the other officers had preceded him. Fight occurs. Manny approached Hamilton, who was lying down, helped him up and then began to pat him down. Hamilton resisted. Witnesses told police that Manny, who was yelling commands at Hamilton, struck Hamilton 1 or more times with his baton before Hamilton took the baton and struck Manny with it 1 or more times. Manny shoots Hamilton. The witnesses said Hamilton was holding the baton. One said menacingly when Manny fired his service weapon. He fired 14 times, resulting in 15 gunshot wounds to Hamilton.